complete becoming a personal trainer. Then when I start going to the other direction, like the yoga way, the theta healing, the healing ways, spirituality, I was like, man, the world also needs this. It looks like for me that it had to happen. People were really needing it. And mostly people from São Paulo, that's like a big capital, and people are all stressed out, taking medicines to wake up, taking medicines to sleep, you know. People are very much workaholics. People don't like your success, you know. Some people want you to succeed. Many people don't want you to succeed. But when we went to the TV and newspaper and magazines, people were crazy about it. Like when we were checking the insights on Facebook, we had this like massive skyscraper going up of people checking the website, going to all these challenges like Ironman. Now I'm training for an Ultraman competition because that's how I keep myself motivated. One of the things I like the most is freedom.
All right. César Curti. Am I saying this correct?
Yeah, it's correct.
Happy to have you on the podcast, man.
Bro, thanks so much for this opportunity. I'm so happy to meet you. We have so many good friends in common. So I'm already waiting for you in Brazil so we can meet each other in person and train together.
I'll come soon, pretty soon. You're actually the second guest from Brazil. I just had Italo Costa some episodes ago. I don't know whether you know him. He's like more in the bodybuilding space, but yeah, second guest from Brazil here. And
awesome. I know him by name. Yeah.
You know him. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So our mutual friend Diego connected us because he thinks we think alike. I checked your website and then I thought, oh yeah, now it makes sense. I know why he's saying that. You're an athlete, you're a coach, you're an entrepreneur, you're a leader, you're a creator, and I can resonate with all those roles. And yeah. Now, what do you tell people when they ask, what do you do and who you are?
Bro, that's a very tricky question. Usually, I need to always come up with some story, sometimes short, sometimes long, depends on the person, you know. But what I do, so the method I created was actually something I developed for myself. So I grew up seeing a lot of like suffering in the world. I saw a lot of like incompleted methods. So like, okay, you need to do one training for your body. But what about if you're stressed or anxious? Okay, so now you need to do something else.
Yep.
But what about if I want to improve my cognitive skills? No, then you need to do something else. I was like, bro, that's too much of a work, you know? Like, is there a way that we can develop ourselves? It's hard to say like in a complete way, but at least trying to, you know? Because by the time I had to, okay, for the mind, let's practice some yoga, let's read some stuff. For the body, let's do sports, let's work out. What about for the spirit? Because I believe that we have these three pillars that we usually work in Mahamudra. Like the goal in Mahamudra is to try to find your balance or regain your balance in these three pillars. So body, mind, and spirit. Yeah. And people come up with many different names, emotions, socials, but I think I like to think about like these three pillars. And the more I tried to develop myself, the more I saw that I was doing well, you know, in comparison with other people my age doing the same stuff. And it didn't take too long for people to start to ask me what I was doing. So which kind of books are you reading? Why you're training like that? And since I was working as a model back then, I was able to travel a lot. And I was like, man, how come this trainer in LA is asking me this? And this Muay Thai guy in Bangkok is asking me that. And when I go back to Brazil, people are asking me the same thing. By the time I was 20, 21 years old, and I wasn't like really like, I have something, you know, I wasn't like really, how can I say, confident. Yeah. I had a method, but I could see that I was doing quite well, you know. And then I started realizing that was not only in the training world that people were asking me stuff. So I had a roommate who was 45 years old, who was like a designer. The other guy was a creative director. And they were asking me about meditation. They were asking me about spirituality. And then I saw that I had something that most people don't have. I'm very curious, like you know.
Mhm.
So if I don't know about something that I really want to know, I'll go study. You know, I will try to talk to people that know about it. And for many years, that was a struggle because I couldn't really choose what I would like to do. You know, but one thing I had in common, like I like to help people. I like to inspire
Yeah.
people. I like to be there. I like to teach.
Mm.
So if I learn something, let's say I'm reading a book yesterday and we were talking today, and I think it makes sense for you, I'm gonna try to tell you the story.
I'm
You
the
know,
same. I'm the
so
same. Absolutely the
so
same.
that's like that's me. And
Yeah.
it took me a while to realize that. You know, I did some astral map. I did many therapies to really be confident to start saying that. And then I was doing modeling. I went to acting. I went to LA, pursuing like a
Let's
nice
go into
career.
all of that. But in short, I mean that's a pretty long answer right here. I would say
Yeah, it's already
it
a long
sounds to
answer.
me like a life coach basically, right? Or is there even a term for that? What do you do? Because I agree, most coaches do either just the workout part, or if you want to increase like cognitive performance or this or that, there's probably not a lot who can do everything, right? I would say it's life
Yeah.
coach, or is there a definition for
Well,
that?
life coach would be a good name for it. But 2 days ago, I was talking to a guy. He's also a coach here in Brazil, and he does like a lot of body surfing things, and he does like some retreats for people to make them be calm in the water. So his name here in Brazil is Human Fish. So,
Human fish.
and I was talking to him about what I do, and he was telling me what he does, and he was like, "Man, you look to me like in the middle of a trainer, in the middle of a therapist or a holistic coach.
Mm.
What about a holistic trainer?" I was like, "That's a good name for it,
That
you know,
sounds good.
holistic trainer." Because since I like helping people, I was like, man, you know what? I've been always doing sports my whole life. I like to read about it, I like to study about it, and I think the world needs it.
Yeah,
People are becoming overweight,
yeah.
obese. People are being depressed, and I was like, I can help them with sports. I can help them becoming a personal trainer and stuff. So I was feeling very complete becoming a personal trainer. Then when I start going to the other direction, like the yoga way, the theta healing, the healing ways, spirituality, I was like, man, the world also needs this.
Mm.
And then I was like in the middle of like a two paths. I was like, what do I want to be? I want to be a trainer coach. I want to be like a spiritual coach or a life coach. And then I was like, is there a way I can mix things up? And then I was thinking about it. I was in Copenhagen back then. I was like, for sure there's a way that I can mix. And for sure there's someone already doing it. I start Googling it. I start looking on YouTube about it. And I couldn't find anyone. So looked like it was like two worlds very distant apart, you know? People from the fitness were not talking about spirituality or
Mm.
healing. They think, now that's bullshit. And people about spirituality were like, no, man, body,
Mm.
mirror, that's
Mm.
not what we do. I was like, man, but for sure we can connect this stuff. And then I couldn't find, bro. I couldn't find people doing it. The most, the closest ones were yoga in a way, but most of the time, people that go to ayahuasca or
Yeah.
yoga, they kind of delete the body part of it. They think it's too static, it's too much ego, and I don't agree with that.
Mm.
I think you can find balance in
Mm.
everything.
But I think
And
from a marketing point of view, it's probably difficult to position yourself in there, because like usually, you know, the fitness guy says, oh, I help you with energy or with losing weight or whatever, and then you have the other people who offer whatever it is to keep calm and like reduce anxiety and whatnot. And if I'm looking for something, I agree, it's connected, but probably they either direct you there or there. And from to market yourself, it's probably easier to position yourself either here or there, and not to offer everything, right? Or am I mistaken?
no, you're completely right. That's been my struggle since the beginning, and it's still my struggle. Like I've done many marketing courses, and they were like, you should be able to explain your method in a small phrase.
Yeah.
I was like, man, how can I do that? I came up with like 20 different answers, and they are all incomplete, you know? And when I was doing my app, my training app, okay, you need to do a MVP, you know, you need to start small, and from there you need to build up. I was like, but then I need to focus on just one thing, and just one thing is not what I believe, you know? I don't want to do an app for breathing and then come up with another app for training, and then another app for meditation, and then another app with podcasts. So when I did my app, I had to do already a big app because I wanted to have kind of everything in the same app, in the same place, you know? And that's pretty much what people like about the classes, because they come. So what I believe that many of these things are like medicine for humans. People need to be able to connect with other people. That's something. People need to work out to be healthy. People need to calm the mind down so they can reduce stress and sleep better. So in my class, I like to give them like a cocktail of medicines, you know? Okay, maybe you don't know that you need this, but I'm gonna give you anyways, you know? So, but you're completely right. It's really hard to market myself and the method. And when we talk about internet marketing and products, online products and stuff, it's always easier to have a specific target.
Position yourself. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But your background initially, you said you were a personal trainer. I think you have the NASM certification as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You were a model back then. I even read on your website that you won Mr. Universe title, I believe, in 2011. That you created this Mahamudra. This is what you're basically still teaching, right? That's what you do.
Yep.
I read that you run several marathons, triathlons, Ironman even. That you participated, I think, in the Beastmaster. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done
That's amazing.
three reality shows already, like international reality shows.
Also from Netflix?
No, only the third one was Netflix. The first one was The Amazing Race. I don't know if you heard about it. No. So, and it's funny because I was watching The Amazing Race when I was living in Asia, because they had The Amazing Race America, Latin America, Europe, Asia, Eurasia, and I was just watching, you know, on Discovery Channel. And when I came back to Brazil, a friend of mine, he said, "Hey, bro, let's go for it, because you register yourself as a double. You know, you can go on your own." And so that was the first one. So it was produced by Disney, so it was very well produced, really nice. The second one was in a Dutch online TV channel. It's called Inside TV. And that was pretty cool. You would love it. The name of it was Spartan X. So they got 6 guys, 6 girls from different sports background. So one guy was from parkour, the other girl was CrossFitter, the other guy was an ultra marathon runner, the other guy was a kickboxer. And we were living under Spartan conditions. So we were living in a castle in Hungary.
Okay.
And all the challenges were like Spartan challenges, you know? So we had to find your own food, cook your own stuff, make your own fire, you know, make your own boat to cross from one side to the other. It was a lot of fun. Bro, I did well, but I didn't win. No.
Didn't win.
I won the first one.
I find it quite fascinating, like all the things you do. Maybe if you draw like a timeline, all right, so like your life on a timeline, what would come first? I think it was the personal training and the modeling, and then how did you go into like these shows? How did you think you're gonna be a creator and do create Mahamudra? Like, when did that come?
So I was doing modeling and acting for a few years, and then I was like, man, you know, I think I want to be an actor. Then I went to LA. Then I didn't like the life I had in LA, and I was like, bro, wait a minute, why am I here? Do I want to be a millionaire? Do I want to be famous? Why I want to be an actor? Then I was going like into myself, and I came up with an answer that I wanted to be an actor back then because I would like to inspire people, because I was already inspired by so many movies and documentaries and stuff. And when that answer came, it made clear that I could inspire people doing many other stuff. So why did I stop going for sports? Because sport had been in my life since I was born, many different sports, many different championships and stuff. It's when I went back to Asia and I started developing my trainer skills. Okay, I'm gonna still do my modeling and acting because I that was what I was paying my bills, but I want to focus on sports right now because that makes sense. I can help the world, and that's something that I do easily.
But it's impressive, like that you actually made a living with modeling. I don't hear that a lot. I don't even know whether it's still possible nowadays. There probably not a lot, at least not male models, right? But that you could make a living of that's impressive.
Yeah, like back then, I don't know how it is right now. I haven't been doing modeling since then, but I think like any other profession, maybe 10-15% of guys and girls, they are kind of make some money. 5% are making a lot, and 85% are just surviving in the business. Now with like social media and stuff, I don't really know how it's happening. But okay, so then I started doing both. I started doing modeling and PT. Also, but I was already mixing up with yoga and martial arts, Muay Thai and stuff. And then I was like, man, you know what? I think I would like to have in a school. I would like to teach people, mostly kids back then, what they should learn to become better adults, because I could see that we need many skills when you grow up that we don't have in school. Like, I don't know how is in Switzerland, but in Brazil, we don't have a good English. We don't have good Spanish. We don't have financial education. We don't have we don't have acting. We don't have we don't have many things that you need.
All the things that you never will use in life, but you don't even know how to fill out the tax form, for example, or something very basic that you need to do every year, but nobody knows that.
Know anything. And then I was like, you know what? I think I should go back to Brazil. I was already living abroad for 5, maybe 6 years almost, and I was okay living abroad, but I was like, man, for how long I'm gonna live abroad? Like my family's back then, I wanted to be a little closer to my family, but I had nothing really bonding me to Brazil anymore, Then somebody invited me to compete in Mr. Brazil. I was like, maybe that's a good starting point, I'll go back and people will already see me, agencies will see me. I went top 3 on Mr. Brazil, and all the top 3 guys, they sent to international competitions. And then Mr. International competition was happening in Bangkok. And they were like, Cesar, you're the perfect guy for it. You live there, you know the market, you know the people, So maybe you should go and represent Brazil in Thailand for Mr. International. And then I went to Mr. International and I won. And that didn't help me professionally that much, but that helped me to get my first reality show. Because when I was registering myself, I kind of promoted myself as Mr. International. It was a double, but I was like, I did this, I did that, I traveled the world, and this and that. I'm also a trainer, and they kind of liked it. And that reality show, bro, actually changed my life because we won 250 grand US dollars, both of us. We had to split, and that was what I needed to really start my company, because I was still like,
that's pretty good. Is it because you won, or did every participant get the money?
No, because we won.
Because we won.
Right. So only the winners would get that amount of money. The other ones, they had different prizes. They had they could travel to Disney, they could travel to Mexico, but not money. And I was already kind of sick of modeling and the industry and all the lies and all the. I was sick of it. I was tired of it. And then I received the money. I was like, you know what? Now I gotta do business. And then I started 3 different things, but the training thing was already developing like from the beginning. I started with a small group of friends, and a month later, the group was bigger. And then 2 months later, I was already opening classes for people that I didn't know. And then since it was so new in Brazil, the TV knew about it, and they
Okay.
started doing
Wow.
like they started inviting us to go to TV shows and stuff. So
To
it was
do what
really
exactly? To work out with them, or
to kind of talk about it,
all right?
because nobody was doing that, you
Because you
know.
built kind of a, well, it's something new and almost like a movement, right? Or a new cult, so
Yeah,
to speak.
and also I was seeing all my friends, guys and girls, they were all like with modeling background, people like beautiful people, handsome people, and most of them really nice people, nice guys, nice girls. I met many Miss Brazil, Miss International, and all these beautiful ladies, and was really a marketing strategy. Like I didn't know exactly how to do marketing back then, but it was the beginning of social media, and people were just posting pictures of food,
Mm.
parties, and stuff. And then we started posting like beautiful people doing acro yoga, running, training in a open environment. Because back then, working out was just in the gym.
Mm.
You know, we were starting to have the boot camps, you know, on the beach or in the islands, but that was not very popular.
Where you had
And
the idea from? Was it from Asia, or was it just an idea of yours, or?
yeah, since I was traveling and I've been to Muay Thai camps in Thailand and some boot
Mm.
camps in Europe, I was like, man, nobody's doing that in Brazil yet, you know? And when I was training for the reality show, because the coolest thing about the reality show was like, you had to train for something that you don't know what you're going to do.
No.
So I had to try to be creative and
No.
try to train anything I could imagine.
No.
I was even like building castle cards, you know, I was trying to study about memory. I was like really going for it, you know. And then I started running in Ibirapuera Park. And then I saw so many cool places to train that nobody was using. I could see a place with calisthenic bars, nobody was using. I could see some like ramps going up, like 6 sets of ramps. Nobody was using that for running or for jumping or anything. And then we had these basketball courts that nobody was using for training. And then I was like, man, I have a huge gym over here that nobody's using. People were just using to hang out in a few running groups. So that was also new, using public spaces
No.
to train. And
What,
and if I wanted to,
what year was that? Like, more or less.
that was 2013.
Okay.
2013.
Because I mean, I've been to Ibirapuera. I don't know whether I'm saying it right. To this park, right? And it's like everyone doing sports, and you have like the calisthenics guys, and then you have basketball. And I found it super cool. I knew it only from well, California, right? There are people outside in Venice Beach, and they're working out. In Switzerland, we also didn't have it. I brought kind of, well, it was more like freeletics, calisthenics, all of that. I saw that in LA, and then I would go back to Switzerland and show people, and they found it super cool. Also, something new, right? But yeah, I mean, in Brazil, for me, it's like, well, everyone does it, but it's basically, yeah, you like and other people who like contributed to that, right? That's so popular nowadays.
Yeah. So it's beautiful, man. When I go back to São Paulo and to Ibirapuera Park, and I see now like so many groups, and I was like, man, maybe they don't know, but they're just like they just came after me, you know, and after the guys and the girls that were helping me out, you know, and then this movement start building up, and other trainers, they were like, what? I can use that as well, you know, and they start coming up with other groups, small,
Did you
medium,
need
big
any funds for that? Because you said earlier you won this prize money, and now you had money to do business. But I assume to like create a small group and go out and work out with them doesn't require any funds, right?
No,
But
no, it
you
was
also said
free.
you did two other businesses, right? You said you started three things. What were the other ones?
Man, the other one was a business that you had to sell supplements and kind of like a pyramid kind of shit. So that so after 1-2 months, I was like, no, man, you know, I don't want to promote this. If I want to promote something, I want to promote my own brand, you know.
No. Good
That
decision.
only helped me to teach me one thing, that the best marketing is person to person, mouth to mouth. So they were always teaching that in the classes, and we're like, it's true. So let's do a very good job so people can spread the word out, you know. So it helped me only to teach me that. And the third business, I opened like I wanted to import goods from Asia to Brazil and sell it.
Ooh,
So
okay. With
yeah, I
Alibaba.
think many people think about it when they go to China or they go
Yeah,
to Thailand.
It's such like when I think about it, like it sounds so easy, and then you do it, and then you see, oh shit, taxes. How do I import those things? And now I need to have like a room to store those things, and how do I deliver it? And like not so easy as it sounds, right?
Yeah,
Did it
it's
work
easy
out?
to buy. It's easy to buy and bring, but how you sell it, right?
Did it work out?
No, it didn't. It didn't. Because I opened this, I started these 3 different things, but then the training thing was already happening really fast. So I just stopped
But I mean,
focusing in
that's
the other.
like honestly, like all those 3 things, I assume training. This is also where your passion was. So no wonder this like took off, and the other one is not, right?
Yeah, pretty much the other 2, I was only thinking about money.
Oh.
And this one was more like a mission, more like a purpose, something that I like and I had to do, you know? And I think maybe that's the reason why it worked out so well for me in the beginning. Because it looks like for me that it had to happen, you know? Like people were really needing it. And mostly people from São Paulo, that's like a big capital, and people are all stressed out, taking medicines to wake up, taking medicines to sleep, you know? People are very much workaholics. And because many people, when they were checking our social media, they were like, oh, you guys should come to Rio, or you guys should come to Florianopolis. I was like, okay, I want to be everywhere. I want to even have a school, you know, to kids and all this kind of stuff. But back then, people from the big cities really need it, because everybody was very stressed out, you know, and they are still stressed out. And so it was very interesting to teach yoga and meditation for people that would never go to a yoga studio, you know. Like I have some cool stories when you do a yoga nidra. There's like a yoga technique when you put everybody laying down on the floor. And I had so many people with insomnia that they couldn't sleep at home with air conditioner, very comfy, but they were sleeping in the basketball court, in the floor, you know? And they were like freaking out, like, what did you do? You know, like I can't sleep at home and I just fell asleep over here, you know? So well, it's a very cool, man. It's something that doesn't matter what happened in my life. That's something that I have to do, you know?
Like a calling. But you said earlier you would do that for free, basically. So what would you do to make it bigger, to like actually also make a business out of it?
So it started out teaching my friends, and my friends were inviting other friends, cousins, girlfriends, boyfriends, and then the group started to get bigger. I started once a week, and then we became 2 times a week. And then I opened up an Instagram account, a Facebook account, and people started to follow, you know, because the pictures were beautiful, people were beautiful, and was something very curious. The name Mahamudra was something very different.
What does it mean, actually? Does it have a meaning?
Mahamudra, I found this name in a book of Osho. He was saying that was one of the highest spiritual states that you can attain. You know, if you go back to Sanskrit, Maha means great, and Mudra means password, key, gesture. So it's like the big password, the big key, the big gesture. You know, the big, the great. So I like that because it gives possibility to many different meanings. You know, like what is the great secret for you? What is the great meaning for them? You know, for some people it's happiness, for some people is success, for some people is peace. So I kind of like that, you know. So the idea of the method is for you to find what is the great gesture for yourself, you know.
Got it.
And develop yourself. And then people were asking me like, how can I join? How can I join? And then I came up like, okay, guys, we're gonna start 3 different classes, morning, afternoon, evening. Sign up. And that's how we pretty much started. You know, we started with 3 classes, and my first salary was like $1,000, you know, and I had to split with some people that were helping me out. And then like a big TV channel in Brazil, global, they were recording something in the park. Was nothing to do with us. And then they saw a lot of people doing animal movements in the basketball court. And they're like, 3 p.m., who works out in the basketball court 3 p.m., you know? And they started watching us training. And they were asking me, what was that? I explained, and they really loved it. Hey, can we show this to our producer? If he likes it, we come back to shoot with you guys. I was like, of course. Bro, they came back and they
Wow.
made like a show, like a 7 minute show on the biggest channel in Brazil.
Yeah,
After that,
Globus.
after that, Global with another show came back and did another show. And then all the other channels did a show with us, because if Global did, we need to do it as well.
Mm, mm,
Then we were already in all the TV channels. Since all the TV channels were interviewing us, all the newspapers and magazines wanted to interview us as well. So it was crazy. Looked like I was a fucking millionaire spending so much money in marketing, but I wasn't spending anything with
mm,
it, you know?
mm.
So that's why for me, it's more like a calling, you know, it looks like it had to happen, you know?
How would
And
be like the turn back from that? Like if you're in TV, in the newspaper, and everywhere, like how many people would actually sign up because of that? Or how did you see the growth happen
bro,
because of that?
what was huge, like we couldn't sign up everyone, you know? That's we had 3 groups, and then in the third month we had 6 or 9,
Mm,
and I'm just one. And how can I teach so many people? We didn't have the internet to do that back then, you
mm,
know? So I had to start training people to help me out. And then people were like, you cannot teach people that are not personal trainers and they're not on physical education. They cannot teach that. And so then I start seeing how's the market. People don't like your success, you
mm,
know.
mm.
Some people like want you to succeed. Many people don't want you to succeed.
Yeah.
So then it was when I started to have the first problems. Some people in the social media were liking what they were seeing. Some people were hating what they were seeing. And then I was like, man, I was in the middle of like a war. Yoga people were saying that I was bullshit. The training people, they were
Yeah.
saying I was bullshit, you know,
Mhm.
and that didn't work. That couldn't match. So I was like, shit, man. I created something to help people, to develop people, so the world can be a better place. And now I'm in the middle of this mess, you know?
Jealousy, right? Mostly.
So yeah, so everything has a price, you know? And I was not ready for it. I was not ready for it. And then I had to become a businessman, pretty much. And I didn't want that, you know? I remember that one of my dreams, I like to put my goals on the paper, right? And one of my dreams was to one day become a CEO of a big company, you know?
Mhm.
After 2 years of Mahamudra in the market, I finally got an office. I finally got my director room, you know? Bro, after 2 weeks in that room, I wanted to kill myself, you know? I was like, man, I miss so much going back to the park,
Uh,
being dirty, and
uh.
teach people over there,
But that
you
means
know?
you had your own trainers at this point, so that you didn't do a lot yourself
Yeah.
anymore. Yeah.
So, okay, so let's go back a little bit. So from 3 groups, we became 6. From 6, we became 9. From 9, we became 12. So at this point, I needed help.
Mm.
So I was teaching all these classes maybe 2, 3 times a week. And a lot of PT groups came by. So some like rich people, they didn't want to go to the park to train. So, okay, I want you to come to my house.
Yeah.
And that's when we start making money, right? So I had these rich people, rich groups of people, and with good networking. So man, you know how is the PT life? You work your ass off. You start 6 in the morning, you work until 11 p.m. And then I was getting lost. I was like, man, I'm losing balance. You know, I was living in a nice apartment, but I couldn't enjoy at all.
Mm.
I didn't have
Mm.
time to enjoy. So then I was okay, man. I need to find more people to help me out. And it's funny, like when we went to the TV and newspaper and magazines, people were crazy about it. Like when we were checking the insights on Facebook, we had this like massive skyscraper going up of people checking the website, you know, and we didn't have space. And because we didn't have space, we're like, please, guys, don't sign up anymore. We have a waiting list of 400 people. That's marketing, man. Then became
Crazy.
800 people, you know, was crazy. People were coming from different cities to train with us. I was like, at one point I was like, man, that's really nice. It's really cool. And the other point I was like, I don't really know what to do. You know, I don't really know how to grow that fast. I don't even know if it's possible because I tried, but then you lose quality.
No.
And then like some people showed up like, okay, I'm a trainer in California. Can I open up the method over here? I'm a trainer in Australia. Can I open up the method over there? And in the beginning I was like, whoa, let's try it out. So we started like opening different cities in Brazil and a few units out of Brazil.
It's kind of an affiliate. Like,
yeah, in the beginning it was. In the beginning was. So there were people that were already training with me in São Paulo and they were moving to other places.
Smart.
And I was like, that was pretty much what jiu-jitsu did, you know? So they grew up in Brazil and then start like spreading the word out. But we were not ready for it, you know? And then people were in Sydney doing whatever they wanted.
Whatever they want, I can imagine.
You know? And they were maybe like growing or most likely ruining the mark in a different market, you know, that I have never been. And then after 1 year, I was like, no, man, let's close down all these units. Is just giving me headache.
Was it lucrative at least? Did you make money on that?
Not at all. No? Not at all. So I was like, man, it's giving me a lot of work, headache. I'm becoming anxious because I don't know what they're doing over there. And it's not giving me any money, you know? So it didn't make sense. So everything I learned over these years was trying. You know, I never really had a business plan planned out. You know, okay, you got to do it here to become a franchise, or if you want to have affiliates, that's what you should do. So I was trying different things, you know. Okay, this guy has a reading studio and he wants to bring the method over there. Okay, let's talk about it and let's think about it. Oh, this guy want to teach in a park in his city. Okay, let's talk. Come do the certification trainer course with us and let's talk about it. So
are you still involved right now? Let's say if I come to Brazil and say, hey, I want to become a trainer, would you be involved at all?
Me?
Yeah.
Or yeah. So what am I doing now? Like Monday, I'm starting a course here in Florianopolis. So now what I'm doing, people are coming to Florianopolis and they had to be here for a month. So it's a 200 hours course. And along these 200 hours, I'm going to teach what they have to know. And they'll be tested. So they'll be tested physically, mentally. They need to study a book. And I'm going to do a test on them, an exam in the end of the course. And I also want to meet them personally to see how they behave, how they are, which skills they should improve, you know. So it's not like a course that you come and you get a certification, you know. It's a course that's
super smart. That's super smart, I think. But it means that right now you only coach trainers. Do you still give like classes to the end consumer?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
So, but now I'm only teaching people here in Florianopolis. And when I'm traveling, I do events in different places. And I did a few online courses already. So it's a way that if you're in a different state or different city and you want to have classes with me, you can join online. But I still didn't find the perfect product for it. Okay. You know.
So the app you were talking before never really got built. Is that correct?
No, it did. It did. I spent a lot of money on it, but the business plan didn't work out.
Okay.
I invested a lot of money on it. And then my partners back then, they told me, don't worry, we're going to bring investors and we're going to make it huge. Never happened. So after 2 years, I was like, man, it's not happening. And then we did a partnership with a different app. And it didn't make sense for me that we had our classes in a different app and our app in the same page. So I kind of took down from the stores. So I still have the app, but it's not in the market anymore.
Got it.
I'm kind of like waiting for when is the best time to relaunch it, you know,
Got it.
because
But
things are so different now, Martin, you know, like when I launched the app, was more like a freeletics app. You receive your training, you can check how you perform the movements, and you do your training.
yeah.
People don't want that anymore. People want the class itself,
Mhm.
you know. People, they want you doing jumping jacks with them. People want you to do push-ups with them. So that's what I do on Zoom. That's what I do on
Okay, you still okay.
or I
Got it.
record a full class and I upload to them, you know.
Got it. Got it.
And that I think connects much more with people actually.
How big is Mahamudra today? Like, how many people participate in? I don't even know how you count that, but probably how many people join classes on a weekly basis all over Brazil.
We have like we have direct students, the ones that are paying like monthly fees and stuff to work out in different cities. But we also have like people that don't live in a city where we have the method, but they come in every single event. You know, they like to be the challenges. So it's really hard for me to count. But let's say we have maybe 1,000 students or something, you know.
But you know, I found it super fascinating. I came to Brazil in 2018, and I was in South's campus, so like 45 minutes from Sao Paulo, right? And I knew about Mahamudra. And every time I would go to Sao Paulo, I would just go to Ibupera Park, and I would see maybe there's like some of these guys because I saw them on Instagram and whatever. And just the fact that I know you guys or knew you back then already, without anyone telling me, like it was also not a friend like Diego said, hey, you need to go there. It was literally me as a foreigner having other problems, like, you know, as a new father and like just emigrated there. But I knew about Mahamudra. Like, it's crazy. Like the movement
That's
itself.
great, yeah. That's really cool. That's really cool.
Super.
And now
super
we're
cool.
here.
Now
You're
we're
coming
here.
to Florida.
Yeah, I still haven't never joined. I never joined, but every time I went there to the park, I would look, oh, maybe these guys are here. But I never could. I joined once, but I think it was like calisthenics something, like group of I think also some famous Brazilians. I don't recall, but there are some calisthenics group that joined once. That's it. I never made it to
Maybe
Mahamudra. Yeah, could be.
Yeah,
Could be. Cool. What's the mission with that? Where do you want to go with that now?
I love transforming people, you know. So I love when people come with low self-esteem and maybe no goals at all, or maybe forgotten goals. And I love when people reach that, you know. So pretty much the mission of the method and my mission is to improve the world by improving people, you know, and along the way improving myself as well. So I really like to go to all these challenges like Ironman. Now I'm training for a Ultraman competition, and because that's how I keep myself motivated. You know, I need to have like a hard goal, a hard challenge to look for, you know.
I want to talk about that. Like I'm a fitness enthusiast like you are, and I love talking about, you know, training and diet. Before I go into that, a few questions when we go back to when you were modeling, because I'm curious, right? I'm, like you said, I'm curious. If I mentioned this competition, Mr. Universe or even Mr. Brazil, is it like in bodybuilding where you go on stage, where you present your body and then you get a note, or is it more like fashion? How does it work?
It's a mix. It's a mix. So it's pretty much it's what's the name of it? It's a beauty pageant, right? So they're gonna evaluate your fitness, how's your shape, how you speak,
Your
if you have any
fitness or your appearance?
your appearance.
Okay. There's a difference,
They
right?
also have like some, but they also have some like sport competition to see how you move and how stuff. And so they kind of want to find who is the most complete person to represent the country.
Okay.
Because the goal is for you to go to international competition and compete against Mr. Switzerland, Mr. Germany and whatever, you know. And so they have all these different competitions, and they give you a score, and then in the end of it, you have the top 5, top 3, and the champion, you know. So, but there is a stage, there is a catwalk where you go on your swimwear once.
Okay.
So Mr. International, for example, we had to go 3 times in the catwalk. We had to go with suits, we had to go with swimwear, and you had to go with something cultural about your country. So you need to dress up like in a cultural way, you know.
How would that look for you?
Bro, I did a capoeira suit, so for me it was easy.
Okay.
Just like white pants, some like rope on my waist, and shirtless was easy, you know.
Cool.
People are like, you should go with like carnival and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
this was I was thinking carnival.
I'm gonna take that to Bangkok, and I was like, no fucking way, you know. So I just did my capoeira thing. Mr. Brazil, we had some like sport competition as well, some talent competition. So in Mr. Brazil, I like music, so I played one of my songs, you know, and then I had to present like a social project if you had one. So it was really interesting as well. So it's not really only like men's physique kind of competition, you know, but all the guys, they were like in shape.
Yeah.
You know?
Once you won the Mr. Universe, or Mr. Universe title, is it right? How do you feel? Or how do you feel? Like, do you feel like, oh, I'm so much better looking than this guy? And how do you feel? Like once you won the champion?
Back then, to be honest with you, I was really thinking about the money, you know.
Okay.
And the prize was not that big. The prize was $10,000. But I just got the news that I would become a dad. So I have 2 daughters. So it was my first daughter. I was like, and then I was like, man, I'm fucked. You know, I just moved back to Brazil. I'm not working as good as here as I work in Asia. And I don't really know if I want to keep doing this. So I had my reserve, but my reserve was already going low, you know. I was doing like some DJ courses to maybe I would start DJ. I didn't know what to do, you know. And so that was before Mahamudra, before the reality shows and stuff. So people told me, man, if you go and you win, you get $10,000. I was like, so I'm going, you know. And actually I got really pissed off because I won. When I was celebrating, I was like, thank God, man, thank God. Now I'm gonna have like a bigger reserve, so I can already think about what I'm gonna do. And that was kind of a scam, you know. The 10,000 grand was actually in jobs, so I would have to go to an agency, and they would find jobs that would pay me 10 grand. I was like, no, guys, no way, man. So the prize was, you need to go back to do what I was already doing, pretty much. Because if you are from the countryside of the country, you were never a model before. For you, it's fascinating. For me, I was already doing that shit for 5 years.
So the prize is you can work for them, basically.
So I had a big like fight with the organizers. And they were like, okay, so now you need to move to Singapore, because it's where the group was there, the Mr. International group. And you need to be here. We're going to find you an agency. I was like, bro, I lived in Singapore twice already. I was working for 2 different agencies already there. I lived there already for 6 months. I know how's the market. I don't want to live there anymore, you know? And they were like, but you sign a contract. And it's like, fuck that, man. I'm not going. If you have a job for me, I fly, I do the job, and I come back, you know? So for 1 year, that's what I was doing. I was in Brazil, and whenever they had a job for me, I would fly to Czech Republic, I would fly to Philippines to work. And so I was not a very, like, I didn't do it so well. I wasn't the guy that was like really being a Mr. International for a year. So I won the title. That helped me to go to the reality show. And maybe I did a few jobs here and there. You know?
Okay, got it. When you won,
because when I joined the Mr. Brazil, my goal was to be noticed in Brazil, because it's a market that I haven't worked before, you know. but to be working in Asia again, it didn't make sense.
Yeah, I see that. I see that. That must be devastating. Like you think, oh, you want money and then you still need to work. Awesome. Back then, I
Yeah, man.
mean, you probably put more focus on just your appearance and body, or that's just like my assumption. I don't know. Do you think how you look is still as important as back then, or did you have like, you know, this shift to more performance or how you feel? Or
I think the main focus is how you look, but it was also important how you talk to people, how you connect with the sponsors, you know, how you answer the questions. Like not everybody has the chance to answer the questions, but when you go to top 5, they come up with some like really tricky questions for you to answer on stage, you know, on TV and stuff. So it's very tricky. You gotta be like smart in a way to do a good answer. And that's pretty much the final. The answer is pretty much the final. And then they're evaluating you, like analyzing you to see how you move, how you talk,
got
how
it.
you
Got it.
if you're gonna represent well the brand, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. But I was more referring to you and your life when you look back. What is it? 13 years, whatever. 2011 to now, almost 2024. How did your goals shift since then? Because as a model, you need to get to be in shape. Probably six pack is probably
Yeah.
the most important. Is it as important today as back then?
No, not at all, man. Not at all.
What is your
Now
main focus right now?
my main focus is to build a solid company. You know, we've been through pandemics, many things changed. I already had so many partnership problems, legal issues. So my goal now is to really keep doing my job, but don't stress out so much. You know, develop my students, develop my coaches, my trainers,
And what your
and
personal fitness is concerned, if you have like, I mean, you just you said earlier you're training for an Ironman right now. Is that correct?
yeah, Ultraman is
Ultraman.
another.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
yeah. Then I come up with like these crazy goals, and I'm try to step by step reach them. So Ultraman is one of these big goals that I have. I was supposed to do in 2020, and 1 month before the competition, pandemic hit it, and the race didn't happen. So I trained, I did my whole preparation for it, and the race didn't happen. And I'm also like a skydiver, so I want to go one day to wingsuiting. I did my first wingsuit fly this
Well,
year, but
yeah.
I didn't do it so well. I almost died, so I need to get myself more
Are you
prepared
not
for.
like scared, especially said you had $2, correct?
Yeah.
Like this would probably come to my mind. I mean, the thought of doing that is, yeah, there's something in me, like, you know, this spark, and yeah, I would like to try and do that, but I also know, okay, I cannot risk. I don't want to risk my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's part of the method. So I'm kind of practicing it, you know. So I can't really doubt. If I'm doubting it, it won't happen, you
Mm.
know. So that's the thing.
So
Like
you just need to
I'm always,
believe so strongly in you that it's going to be well, right?
yeah, yeah. But you really strongly believe in you in something like that, you gotta prepare yourself for it. So, for example, wingsuiting is not a sport that you start on it. You need to become a skydiver first, have like hundreds of jumps, then you're allowed to start trying it. You know, it's like if you want to go to Mount Everest, it's not something that you go, okay, I'm going tomorrow. You need to
Yeah,
develop your
obviously.
mountain climbing skill stuff. So that's pretty much what I do. Like I like to find these crazy goals and see if I can get there. You know. So by
What's the
now,
craziest thing you've done so far?
the craziest thing I did so far, like
the hardest, or yeah.
Bro,
Yet to
I don't
come,
know, man.
ultra.
I don't really have an answer for that, you know.
By the
I think
way,
the most challenging stuff is to find balance between all this mess. Family, challenges, company,
uh,
personal life, you
uh,
know, that's the trickiest part.
that's the hardest thing of all. By the way, what came to mind when you talked about skydiving? The first time I jumped out of a plane was with Diego in California, and I remember when when we were there, and you have to sign this paper that they were not responsible if something happens. Diego, like, he freaked out. He absolutely freaked out when he saw that.
It's crazy, man. When you're doing your skydiving course or your diver certification course, the first moment is scary because it's pretty much they're like, they want you to leave, it looks like. Because, oh man, if you do this, you die. If you do that, you also die. If you do this, and this, you die too. You know, like, what the fuck am I doing here? You know, how can I survive? Teach me how to survive.
That's the main goal,
And
right?
then you're like, really crazy to be here. You know, how can I pay for this? You know, but it's true. Like you gotta prepare yourself for things that can happen.
Mm.
But living is kind of dangerous. You know, we actually can
Fair enough.
die so easily. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can do a pull up and then fall from the bar and you hit your head on the floor and you're dead. You can
It
be
could be just like going to work, going to school by car,
by
like
by
by bike,
car.
whatever it is. Like, yeah,
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 yeah.
true.
And I think like when you have a big goal, you gotta be willing to take risks. You know, so I see every time I do a skydive jump, and I'm afraid of heights. That's why I went to skydiving
Okay,
because like man,
I like that.
I that's something that really freaks me out. So for me, every jump I do, when I land safely on the floor, and I just look up, I was like, did I just jump from an airplane? And I kind of know what to do. And I
Mm,
opened my parachute, I landed safely. I'm like, man, that's really crazy, you know?
mm.
And that boosts me up with a lot of like self-esteem
Yep.
that I can do anything,
No,
you know?
no.
Like I'm not really calm in the water. So that's why I went to open water swimming,
Oh, wow.
because it's a way to practice what I'm afraid of,
No.
you know? And that kind of empowers me, you know?
Yeah, I haven't done this yet because I'm super afraid of sharks and the water in general. I don't like the ocean, and I think it was 2 years ago in Fernando Noronha, and let's
Yeah.
go just snorkeling. I said, "Oh, I can't," and then I did it, and it was so scary, but I was still proud that I tried.
Did you see sharks while
I
you're snorkeling?
we only not no we saw sharks from the beach. So and that was so crazy. People were still swimming in there, and you see like just like the sharks, the bay, and yeah, it was pretty scary as well. But yeah, I don't like sharks, but I like the idea, like facing your fears. It's so powerful and so hard at the same time, right?
Yeah. Because and then I kind of, that's kind of my mission, you know, like I like helping people to face their fears as well, you know, and it doesn't need to be fears of heights, but many people they have a fear of public speaking, and I try to help them out.
Mm,
Some people are afraid of driving. I
mm.
know many people that are afraid of driving. So I try to use sports and training as a way to boost their confidence
Yeah,
so they become willing to at least try,
yeah,
you know,
love it.
to face the fear of water, fear of heights, fear of driving, fear of speaking, fear of expressing themselves, you know.
Got it. Coming back to fitness and sports, a few questions about that. When you prepare for the Ironman or the ultra,
Mhm.
how does uh training week look like? How often do you train, and how does your training look like?
So pretty much you have this volume of training that you had to do every week. So it's a triathlon competition. So you need to have a volume of running, cycling, and swimming. And you pretty much start like building up. You go up and down, and start building up your volume. By the time you're ready for the race, so the more time you have for training, the better. But some weeks are just crazy.
How much time you spend? Can you give me a number? Like,
bro, the longest training I have done in my life was not on a race, was on a Saturday. I had to swim 3 hours and then cycle for 7 hours and a half. And that was just training.
But you said had to. Does it mean you have a coach, or do you do your own training?
I hired a coach that he has done this race like a few times.
Makes sense. Yeah,
so he was helping me out. So of course you don't start like that. You pretty much start maybe. Let's talk about Ironman first. So Ironman, if you have more time to train, okay, but let's talk about people that work from 9 to 5, all right? And they do Ironman as well. Yeah. So that's the most common training schedule that you're gonna find. People gonna train 1 hour per day from Monday to Friday. So maybe Tuesdays and Thursdays he's gonna swim 1 hour. Maybe Monday and Friday he's gonna run, and Wednesday he's gonna cycle. On the weekends, then the volume goes sky high. Then on Saturday you pretty much try to train 2 or 3 sports in the same day, and on Sunday you do only long cycling, because that's pretty much when we have most free time. So then you had to cycle from 3 hours up to 6 hours, and then pretty much all the weeks are like that.
When I was doing this as well, because you don't have, or you didn't have this 9 to 5 job, right? You could probably take more time if you wanted during the week as well.
Yeah, then I was also training fitness. I was training calisthenics because I didn't want to do only endurance. I like strength training as well. So let's say, so that means some days of the week you need to train twice a day. So let's say in the morning I was doing my triathlon training, and in the afternoon I was doing my strength training, let's say. And then maybe twice a week I would do some recovery, some myofascial release, some stretching sessions, some yoga. And so that's why I say the more time you have, the better. So you can train not only the triathlon skills, but all the other complementary skills that you need, right? When I was training for Ultraman, I was like, bro, I told my trainer, I don't want to have all my weekends full of training, So I can manage my schedule to have more free time during the week, so I can have more freedom on the weekends. Then for me it was better. So sometimes on a Tuesday, I had to swim and cycle. Sometimes on a Wednesday, I had to run and cycle, So I was putting more volume of training during the week and becoming more free in the weekends. So that means maybe Monday, I'm going to swim for an hour, 3K. And later on, I'm going to run 1 hour, 1 hour and a half. So it's not like you go really hard every single day, right? The most important thing is to complete the volume of training you need that week.
Yeah. But I still like that you didn't neglect the weight training, that you still kept going with that, because obviously it helps also with the endurance. Or like I'm having a lot of, well, let's say semi-professional cyclists, and they are all the time on their bikes. And the moment we integrate strength training, say, oh, it's now so easy to go uphill, right? Before I struggled so much, and now, it always helps them as well.
And also because to keep the shape as well. I don't want to be a professional triathlete, very skinny, I know that for the sport, the skinnier the better, so you're not carrying a lot of weight with you. But I know I'm not gonna win that. I'm not the guy that's training only triathlon for a few years, so I'm not going really for the win. I want to do a nice race, the best as I can. Who knows? Maybe I do well, but I know that some other guys, they're training 20 years for that.
So you have the performance goal to do that, to do the race and finish it. but you also want to look good. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I don't want to lose everything I did for the past years just because of this challenge. You know?
Yeah, that's also one of my biggest struggles in fitness, I would say. So my goal is never to, or at least not for now, not do an Ironman or a triathlon or something like that. But I want to push myself in calisthenics, even a little bit of gymnastics. Not that I'm a gymnast by any means, but I want to learn some body weight stuff, and then at the same time, I want to look good and I want to feel good, and like combining performance and skill training, and then also the aesthetics, how you look, is sometimes almost contradicting, because like in calisthenics, again, you need to be light. The lighter the better, right? You cannot be bulky, not too much muscle, because like everything is so much more difficult. But
Yeah.
obviously, yeah, being muscular is cool as well. So I can
But,
relate.
one of my goals in calisthenics is to be able to do a planche.
The
Planche, I
full
think
planche.
that's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
so beautiful, man. I think that's
I
so
could just
beautiful.
straddle with the legs open. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can do it. Oh,
Not
that's
anymore.
beautiful.
I don't think anymore. I don't think that. I think my biggest achievement, I would say, is the Iron Cross on the rings. So where you go up,
Oh, wow.
and then yeah, this I was super proud of that. Right now I'm trying to do the flares. Do you know the flares?
Oh, okay, like the break dancing
It's like
kind
the
of thing.
break. It's super difficult, but I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying. Yeah, yeah, I'm trying.
Nice, nice. I love this. I love these crazy movements as well. You know,
Power
I don't have
moves.
anybody here to teach me that, but sometimes I like to watch some tutorials and
Right,
I
so me
like to
too.
try some stuff.
I wish I'm looking all the time for, okay, who can show me this move, and here in Krabi I'm searching all the time. Okay, where's a gymnast? Or hey, I'm reaching out to people. Hey, I saw you here. Can you teach me? But yeah, I didn't find anyone who can teach me. Or yeah. Anyway, how does your diet look like? What is your approach to nutrition?
Bro, I've tried many different diets already in my life. Lately, I've been more like only on like a lifestyle diet, you know?
Lifestyle
I kind
diet.
of try to do what my body asks me. Of course, most of the time I try to be as healthy as I can, but I don't count calories. I don't count proteins and stuff, you know? Um, Pretty much my diet changes depending on the challenge I'm facing. Okay, so right now, since I'm doing more triathlon training, I need to eat a lot of carbs, and my body craves for carbs. Like usually during the day, I love sweets, but I don't really buy Nutella. You know, when I'm training full on, looks like my body asks for it. You know, I need carbs, I need
Need the
sugar,
calories. Yeah.
I need calories. So I like to listen to my body. You know, I like to listen to my body. Uh, what really fills me up is like a big meal with rice, meat, vegetables, potatoes, whatever. Uh, but at the same time, since I'm not looking for the highest performance
Mm,
to win the
mm.
competition, uh, I sometimes I eat fried food. Sometimes I go for hamburger. I go for pizza. You know,
Yeah, trying
so
to find this balance, or like to live, because like you, I tried probably everything, and some diets, yeah, they are working, but actually all diets, most diets are working, but almost none of them is actually sustainable, right? And not
yeah,
practical. Meaning, if I want to go out
that
with my family, or if we order something here in Thailand, everything is so cheap to order. But if I cannot do that, then then I cannot even
point.
enjoying experience the cult here, and I want to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, everything in
I like
moderation,
to be
right?
very I like to be very practical and very functional. Let's say this morning my breakfast was 3 eggs, some really nice bread, and cheese. That's it, you know,
Mhm.
and coffee. I do
Mhm.
some nice coffee, and that's pretty much it, you know. So I like to be very functional with what I eat. Like at night, I bought a lot of these really healthy meals, and I just warm it up and I eat it all, you know. So because I like changing stuff. When I was doing modeling, then I was doing more keto diets, low carb, zero carb, because we need to have our abs showing off. And but then you start eating, you need to eat every 3 hours. That's such a pain in the ass, you know. I don't have patience for that anymore. And eating the same thing every single day. Back then I didn't care, but now I care. I don't want to do that, you know. So like you said, sometimes I'm with my family, sometimes I'm with friends, sometimes I'm with girls, and I gotta eat what I have to eat, you know.
I mean,
but of course,
this
when I'm
boring.
very
Like I remember too, you know, rice, broccoli, chicken 6 times a day, and like timed, right? If I'm half an hour late, then oh shit, like I'm freaking out here. like I cannot miss that. Yeah, it's more stress than anything, to be honest.
Yeah, but of course, everything depends on your goals. That's what I tell people. You want to do a body, you want to be a bodybuilder. That's how you should eat. You know, don't try to eat like me, trying to be a bodybuilder. You know, if you want to be like a very high performance athlete, no, that's not how you should eat. You should eat like that. But right now, I'm more of like trying this lifestyle, intuitive diet. You know.
Do you still do any modeling work?
Bro, not at all. Not at all.
Because you're
only like somebody
because you're tired or too old.
Bro, I'm tired of the industry. You need to be uploading new pictures all the time. You need to be in contact with an agency, and then you need to be asking them for work all the time. So of course I'll do it if just comes up on Instagram or social media, you know, because these days you don't really need to be a model to do most of the jobs anymore. If you have followers, if you have engagement, people are inviting you to do stuff.
So I had this fitness model from LA on the podcast as well, and he was talking about that. It's like, since social media, for the companies, it's so much cheaper to find someone, right? And it has like a lot of engagement. It's even better marketing than finding a professional fitness model and then pay him a lot and need to fly him out, and he has no reach. So it's much easier for the companies, and for him, the fitness model, well, it got kind of out of business almost, right?
Yeah. So that's why I think even the modeling agencies, they changed. These days, they want models with like a very movement, social media, whatever, you know, with like a lot of engagement, a lot of followers, and that's what the brands are doing. You know, that's what the brands are doing, pretty much.
How old are you now, if I may ask?
I'm 36.
36.
36. And you, Martin?
What do you think? Don't say anything wrong.
I would say 30, 31 or something.
Yeah, 31. Yeah, absolutely. 30. Perfect. Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
And have you done any modeling job as well?
Well, yes. Yeah, you can say yes, but I cannot say that I really made money out of it. A few modeling jobs where I was like, you know, the model, and it was professional setup, but not that I actually made a significant amount of money, or never that I could like live off it. But I also need to tell, like, it you know, first of all, I'm super small, so for most jobs it's like, oh, you're not tall enough. And then I also never, you know, when I feel the most confident is when I'm doing sports, when I'm can be myself, and I don't need to try to be someone else for, you know, to fit a specific brand or to fit what they need. So I'm probably a very bad actor. Let's put it this way. I'm a very bad actor. I can be very good at being myself and being authentic, but if I have to be someone else or look like someone, then nah, not for me. You know what I mean?
Awesome. But that's what it's nice about social media, because now that's what brands are relating to. They want people to be more authentic. They want people to be themselves. And so I think it's cool. You know, you don't need to try as hard to be another celebrity. You know, it's not working that way.
Yeah,
I think.
not anymore. I think there was a time that worked, but anyway. I lost few questions. What do you think is the key to your success? What do you have that other who are not as successful don't have?
Bro, I like to, how can I put it that way? I'm very creative. So for me, if I see someone doing already what I want to do, I kind of lose the will to do the same. I like doing things that haven't been done, you know, or things that I think it's very difficult, or things that are not related to each other. So let's talk about Ultraman and wingsuiting. Usually people that go to one way, they don't go to the other group, you know?
True.
So I like to be this guy that travels through different tribes, you know, and can be friends with all these different tribes, and can learn and teach with different people and different groups, you know. So maybe that's one thing that helps, you know, be open, be willing to learn from any kind of people, be curious, and be very intuitive, that in a way that, man, I want to do something new, you know. There's always space for something new. I think
Yeah,
maybe that's
I think you're pushing yourself out of comfort, and most people are very comfortable where they are and say, oh, this sounds crazy, I don't want to do that. Why should I do that? Right? Why should I start something new? I'm like happy with my job here and with my life, and they're just, you know, they're not willing to try something new. You, on the other hand, I love what you said, right? That you want to do new stuff, that you want to face your fears, and this is not something a lot of people have. I think this is
that's why, like,
very unique.
the documentary of Arnold just came out, and
Yeah.
he's a guy that I was like, man, if he did everything that he did, we can do it too, you know. So that's the mindset I like, you know. So let's try to push ourselves, get out of the comfort zone, because out of the comfort zone, we're gonna find new stuff. So I'm pretty much always looking for what's new, what's next. You know, if I get too much comfortable, it starts to piss me off. You know, like I told you, I became a CEO. I had my office. 2 weeks later, I was like, no, man, that's not it. You know, so I want to have a new experience. I want to travel to different places. I think one of the things I like the most is freedom. It's freedom. So that's why I find a job. I need to find a lifestyle that I can still be myself. I can still try to develop new things, even that people think that's crazy, that I shouldn't be doing. I shouldn't take risks anymore. But that's pretty much what I have to do. You know, what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, I'm absolutely the same. I love what you're saying here. I'm so much the same, and I'm also like I even, you know, I write down my goals like you, and then I said, okay, I'm gonna write the book, and then half a year later, I wrote every day for an hour or two, and then I finish it, and then okay, done. What's next? Oh, like just the next chapter, right? But not everyone has this. Like some people are just, you know, happy with where they are, and to me, that's crazy. It's literally crazy how, yeah, content some people are, how they can be almost like, how can they be happy with not moving forward? For me, I need to move forward. I need to be productive, need to work on something. This is for me. I also think, I don't know whether you share this with me or not, I don't think at any age I will just not do anything anymore. Like this idea of, oh, I'm gonna retire early with 50 and then just stop doing anything and lay at the beach. For me, I don't think it will ever.
No,
I don't want to do that because I want to do stuff, right? And
it's
if
true.
you can do this, the stuff you like and that you believe in, yeah, I don't think I will ever stop.
You know, like the difference is, some people, they're like, you know what? I can't do everything I want in one life. So they're waiting for different lives to do all the things they would love to do. And I think people like us, we want to do as much as possible, you know. You want to write a book? Okay, what's next? I want to write a song. What's next? I'm going to run a marathon. What's next? Now I'm going to help my kids to do that. There's always something that we need to look for, right? Strive for. I think that's the nature of some people, not everyone.
Not the rule.
You know,
No.
probably some people, if they get out of the comfort zone, they do lose themselves, you know. But for us, I think we need the movement. You know, I think sports people, they're always, they need a movement. They need challenges. They need to have a goal. They need to, you know, reach somewhere.
Absolutely. Cool. Awesome. Last question before we wrap this up here. Where can people find you? Where can people learn more about your movement?
So I have my Instagram account, cesarcurti.mbt. There's also a website telling a little bit of my work, what I do. Email is always
It's
a
only
good
in
way
Portuguese
to...
though, right? The website, or is it also in English?
Yeah.
Portuguese.
Yeah, no, it's not English. I should start doing more things in English, more content in English as well. That's something is on my goal list
To do.
I just start doing
Awesome.
more English content. And where else? Yeah, because YouTube, all these things are pretty much all in Portuguese. So good. I have a new goal. I need to start producing more English.
Let's tackle that. Cool. Thanks a lot for coming onto the show here. Foi prazer conhecê-lo. Muito obrigado. all the best for the future, and hopefully we get to work out somewhere in Ibirapuera Park or wherever in Brazil. Stay in touch and have a nice, what is it, morning?
It's morning. It's morning. Almost 11 a.m. here.
All right, almost 9 p.m. here, so almost 12 hours apart. But yeah, have a productive day. Thanks a lot for coming, and all the best.
Thanks so much. All the best.
Cheers.
See you.
Bye-bye.